Please welcome Greg Miller.
What's up, E3? How are ya? You, sir, I need 20% more energy. How are you? All right, that was good. Wow, all right. 20% people usually guess a roundabout. They're not sure. Is everybody having a good day so far? What's the best thing you've seen? You? Oh my God. Well, this is gonna be a good crowd. Who's been to? How many people have been in the showcase so far? How many people have been doing the Coliseum so far? Okay, a lot of you are raising your hands. If you are raising your hands, you have been to bad E3 Coliseum panels. I blame Jeff Keighley. I don't blame everyone who's working so hard. What we need today is your excitement, your energy. We're talking about The Division 2. So when we say cool things about it, I need you to get crazy like this. If we said, it's coming out soon, it's gonna be awesome, you'd go, yeah! And if we say something like, it got delayed till 2020, you'd go, no, we're not excited about the delay unless they really need it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Greg. I'm from Kinda Funny. I love The Division. I'm excited to talk to you about The Division 2. Please put your hands together. First, for creative director from The Division 2, Julian. Julian, come on out here. Up next, give me a handshake. There you go. They're a good crowd, all right? Keep the energy up.
All right.
Give me 20% more energy.
Woo!
There we go, perfect. Then, over here, a lovely gentleman. I've been saying his name all day. Here, no, don't come out yet. I'm still giving you the intro. He's working on The Division right now. He's the game director, Mathias. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, E3! Still gonna need 20% more from you, though, okay? Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me.
Who's missed the 20%?
Right here, this gentleman right here in the rogue.
Right.
He's in a rogue
20%.
squadron. We gotta watch him.
Awesome.
I don't trust him. He's up to something, I'm sure, 100%. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Excellent.
Pretty casual E3 for you, huh? Just announcing
just-
this game, showing it over and over again.
Just walking around, you know.
The first thing, of course, and you know that they gave me this thinking I'd go through it. I don't want to go through it at all. The first thing I want to do is compliment you on how you've been showcasing The Division so far. I loved the early announce of, hey, we're going to be at E3, The Division 2's coming.
Yep.
I love that you got out in front of saying, hey, the original Division is going to have these shields in it that you can go through to start working for Division 2. Then I love the fact that you pop up at the Microsoft press conference, here's a tease, here's the trailer, but then at the UB press conference, you show more, show a demo, come out and start explaining stuff. I thought that was an awesome way to do that.
Good strategy.
Was it all you, Julian? Are you the one who came up with this marketing strategy?
No. There's a huge amount of people on The Division. Anytime there's a project as big as this, there's a huge amount of people. Lots of discussions, lots of coordination. Of course, there's a great project there. And we wanted to do something that was community focused too. So when we announced we were working with on the sequel, that was direct to the community. That was a stream. That was, in Massive, in Sweden, doing a little stream, talking to our audience. And it was awesome to do it like that, instead of doing a big press release or something like that. Microsoft, great partnership with them. We had some great gameplay footage, exclusive. And then Ubisoft, that huge room, lots and lots of love. The beta sign-up is live now. We're getting incredible numbers from that too. So it's been fantastic.
And you were wearing pants.
I was wearing pants.
Yeah, the short's an interesting choice here.
I always wear shorts.
Okay, I'm not going to stop you. It's hot. It's hot out there. Is everybody hot? From San Francisco, and I'm fat. It's too hot out there. I can't keep up with it. So let's talk about that. You talk about your community, and I want to get to that later in the presentation. Division 2, where are we picking up? What's happening?
So if you're familiar with the events of the first game.
I am. Platinumed it, no big deal. PSN profile, Game Over Greggy, if you want to check. Go ahead.
So, Virus is released on dollar bills
Right.
in New York City around Black Friday, around Thanksgiving. The virus wasn't contained, so it spreads all across the country, all across the world. The result is not pretty.
Yeah.
We pick up 7 months later. It's summer, it's hot, it's hotter than here, it's more humid. We're going to Washington, D.C. The city's been flooded. It's been transformed beyond all recognition. And the adventure there starts with this question. This city, Washington, D.C., is the most fortified city on Earth. So how on earth were we able to lose it? So you have to discover, okay, how did it fall?
Yeah.
And then rebuild it, safeguard that rebirth of society.
So, as creative director, was the plan, even in Division, for the original Division, was it always Washington, D.C. is somewhere you'd want to go? Was it always at the top of the list? Well, and why, I guess?
Again, when we started it, New York is so iconic and so awesome that that was our main focus. It's only when we finished that and we started talking about the sequel, we looked at a bunch of cities. We looked at San Francisco, we looked at Seattle, we looked at
You're like, those places can never fall. San Francisco, too perfect.
Too perfect.
Or already such a disaster. Let them go.
But really, when you think of Tom Clancy, when you think of The Division, when you think of the lore of The Division, there really was just one possibility, and that's Washington, D.C. So not only was it for the stories we wanted to tell, but it's also, have you been to Washington, D.C.? Yeah. On school trips, probably.
No, I did an internship there. I'm very excited to see. I stayed in Germantown. I'm excited to see if we get that far out into Germantown, maybe into Rockville. These are great. If there's a Washington, D.C. people watching this, they're enjoying these comments. You're one of them? How'd you like that Germantown shout out, huh? That's right. More Rockville? Okay, I'll take
Rockville. So the incredible thing with Washington, D.C. is that it is so much more varied in terms of environments than Midtown Manhattan.
Sure.
Midtown Manhattan, as iconic as it is, it's a grid, huge buildings, fairly claustrophobic. Washington, D.C., you've got those huge buildings, but you've also got the mall, wide open spaces, you've got Georgetown, suburbs, you've got residential, commercial areas, you've got nature on Roosevelt Island. So all of this variety was something that was super important for us too. So that was one of the factors.
Sure. Mathias, as game director, when you guys pick Washington, D.C., do you immediately get excited based on everything he's saying, the monuments to play with?
Absolutely, we do. I mean, it's the great adventure stepping into the unknown that Julian's talking about, right? And a big part of that is to go through the world step by step and having that experience. So if we can offer you a lot of contrast and variety, it's almost jungle in around the Potomac there. It's almost subtropical in DC in the summer, right? So that is amazing in itself, but also the opportunity with wide open spaces like the mall. For those of you watching or here who played the demo, this control point, the crashed Air Force One, below Capitol, being able to make these 360 approaches and offering completely different way from the narrow streets of Manhattan, or of course also in the Division 2, like up in Georgetown, or that variety presents it really well in terms of gameplay.
How accurate is your DC to the real DC?
Very.
Yeah.
well, the part of DC that we're building for Division 2 is roughly 20%, something bigger.
20%.
20%. 20% bigger than the part we had of Manhattan, right?
Oh wow.
And we, of course, we've been developing Snowdrop, our engine, over the years as well, and now we're able to use what's called GIS data and LiDAR, like laser scans. So we basically have a one-to-one representation of DC. Like if you're from DC, you'll know your way around. Of course, all the monuments, all the landmarks helps immensely, right? But also, if you just play the game, you'll find your way when you get there in real life. Yeah.
Okay. Now here's my question for you. I had of course, on Kind of Funny, we do the live reactions and stuff. We talk about all the videos. I've been talking about The Division a lot. One of our audience members, his name is Kebabs on TV. That's his Twitch handle, right?
Kebabs on TV.
I got in an argument with him on Twitch because he was trying to tell me that the U.S. government wouldn't allow you guys to have shootouts on the mall or in the Lincoln Memorial, or like. And I'm not trying to tease where anything's happening. I don't know. But he's wrong, right? You're going to do cool stuff in these places, right?
I genuinely hope he's wrong, and I hope that...
Otherwise, we're in trouble.
Somebody ring Ubisoft legal right now. Ubi legal, we got problems. We need to get on this. The government's coming.
If the game doesn't release because of this, Kebabs on TV, we're coming for you.
He's out there just immediately reporting it.
Oh, my.
So you brought up the fact that it's like a jungle on the Potomac. Mm-hmm. That is what threw me initially when we jumped into that first trailer, because I'm like, I was trying to figure out what game this is, and then I saw the orange circle. I'm like, all right, it's The Division. Mm-hmm. Where are we? It's been 7 months, I guess, since basically the collapse of civilization. Right. How have you guys transformed DC?
7 months is a long, long time. With chaos, with virus, with civilians dying,
Sure.
because there's a lot of death as well. We transformed it completely. And we try and think of an area as a blank page to tell stories. So you have these historic sites, but then you've got to think, okay, what happened to these historic sites if a disaster like this happened? And you can take reference from real-world disasters. What happened in Katrina, in the Superdome, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But then you have to move on, okay? Society fell. So those rescue efforts, they collapsed. So you add another layer of storytelling on top of that of how are the factions treating this place? Have civilians been able to reclaim it? Are civilians trying to defend it, to create a mini fortress in that wilderness now? So it's one of the things I'm the most passionate about is this recreation of a completely transformed world. It's recognizable, it's relatable, completely transformed.
Right there, you mentioned factions and civilians. Again, when you guys went off the air, I went to the website, I started putting together information for YouTube videos. We talk about the faction there, the True Sons. And then, as an original Division fan, and again, Platinum Trophy, no big deal. I noticed immediately when, in the gameplay demo, right, the woman walks over and starts talking to a civilian, and it's a community leader, and gets the job, and moves. What are factions, and then what is the role of civilians this time around?
I'm going to kick off the civilians, because the civilians...
I don't know if you heard me. I'm the moderator. And no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So civilians are super important. One conceptual thing when we started thinking about the sequel was our responsibility as creators, when we create a dystopian world, is to inject a little bit of hope. There is a better tomorrow down the line. This is not completely hopeless. And that better tomorrow lies in civilians and civilians being able to rebuild. And the Division, as relating to a conversation we just had, as modern day superheroes.
Sure.
They're not wearing the cape, but this is my conception of if we have a superhero for the 21st century, it should be a civilian who's dedicated to protect and to rebuild.
100%.
So the civilians, incredibly important. They're in settlements, they're in communities, they're out in the wild. They need resources, they need protection, they need medicine, water filtration, and every activity that you do, every main mission, side mission, will contribute to building up their security, to securing a better future. And the factions, they're just there to take everything away from that. So it builds this sort of tension there.
Is that something you get to toy around with then as you direct the gameplay?
Yeah. I mean, so the enemy factions, of course, there's more than one of them, right? There are several enemy factions in the game world, and the civilians, everything you're doing in the open world when you collide with these groups is something we're running dynamically. So there are actually these needs and resources and goals that they have that Julian's talking about, that those are stimulated as well. So we get a lot of life and variety and ultimately surprise in the game for you as a player, which is something we're super excited about as gamers as well when we play back home. That's like, whoa, shit, what's around the next corner? That type of experience. So I think also the civilians this time around, they're more than victims, right? So you helping them helps you, and they also take part in even combat, right? If you once again, if you play the demo, if you saw the demo, they get in and join the fight, and you call them in when it's
That's cool. It's more dynamic, right? I feel like before civilians were limited to, I need a candy bar. Here you go. Oh, here's a hat. Thank you. Like, and I always like the hat. Don't get me wrong, but you know. Speaking of that too, the hat. You talk about the agents being the modern day superhero, right? I think that's one of the reasons I connected so much with the original game was the idea of that opening cinematic, right, where the dollar flu's happening, everything's going on, and you see everybody's watches start lighting up. Obviously, I formed a bond with the agent I was building. I put so many hours into her. Is she gone now? Is she still in New York? Is this my character, or is it? How's this work?
It's a brand new character
Okay.
because we wanted people to have that progression journey again.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a brand new character. Doesn't mean you can't name her, and she can't look very similar to what she looked like in
This
New
is
York.
her twin sister who lived in DC.
Absolutely.
Got it. All right.
But there's a huge amount more that we want to do with characters because New York, talking about the hat. It's winter. It's cold.
Yeah.
Your agent pretty much needs a big jacket and a woolly hat. It's summer. It's Washington, D.C. Lots of new looks, including shorts.
See, it was a tease the whole time, everybody. You're like, why is he wearing shorts on a stage? To promote the game. Look at him. How dedicated to the job are you?
Super dedicated.
I guess that's one of the things I didn't think about until I saw the original, the trailer for Division 2, was the fact of like, oh yeah, I've never just run around in a tank top and a t-shirt in the Division universe, right? So that's a great visual style already.
Well, it's also, at its heart, the Division is a role-playing game. And we want that avatar to really feel like your representation within that world. So giving you a lot more options in terms of vanity is definitely something that we wanted to do.
Now you talk about options.
Yes.
And earlier you were talking about community.
Yeah.
Another thing, an earlier before that, no, I'm kidding. But I did, again, in your presentation, love the way you guys opened pretty much with your end game and talking about what comes after level 30, what is going to be what you keep doing in this game and what keeps bringing you back. And you, of course, announced the raids, you do all these different things. What is the end game this time around? And do you think, because I do think, so you just should agree with me here, do you think that this is a very much a reaction to everything you learned from the original game?
Yes. In many, many ways, yes.
Perfect.
That was it.
Great panel, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. No, but we started day one thinking about how do we, the end game we want to create and the end game that our community wants to play and all the learnings from the Division 1 and it being live, right? And it's really a combination of, in many ways, playing through the Division 2, the more you play, the more there is to do, because you get more powerful, you get more broad in your capabilities, your toolbox as an agent and a player, and you unlock more and more activities, and the world is there dynamically, it's never consumed, right? And it reacts and changes with a little surprise. We're not talking about at the end game. So we have that side of things. Of course, we also add a number of new things to that, not least for you personally, like or more player character-centric specializations.
Oh yeah.
Right? Which is, it's not a class. You're not locking yourself into a permanent choice or a role forever. It's coming to end game. You built yourself up, and on top of that, we say, hey, how do you really want to jump into a playstyle even further, starting with a signature weapon and then having actual progression and unlock throughout.
So that's the thing, right? From what I gather from these specializations you guys were talking about and showing is, I hit end game. All right, cool. Here's where I'm going to really sink in hundreds of hours. Yeah. And I pick one that I'm then leveling up on its own. It's a new tree, a new level system to go for.
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you want to, you can invest in that, stick with that forever. But you can also max out the other ones and give yourself.
Oh, you can switch specializations.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So it's not mutually exclusive. It's a very flexible system too.
Okay. So this is what we're talking about right now as we see the grenade launcher, and this is the specialization trailer we saw. Right. Sniper rifle, you pick the weapon and then move into where you want to take that specialization.
Exactly, and then you'll get more goodies to unlock. And then, of course, it's all about, the ticking heart of the Division is the gear game, and we did a lot of refinements to the RPG and the combat shooting mechanics and the harmony between the two, right? And finding new fun synergies, fun tough choices within your old build, but also how you synergize between other players. Yeah. And specializations there is a great new addition, we think, to both for yourself playing alone, but also playing with others, not least in the raid, right, that we talked about. We're doing 8-man raid as the kind of ultimate endgame challenge and an experience.
Is that directly from audience feedback from what you got from the original game?
Yes, but it's also because pretty much everybody on the team are gamers, and we love games, and we love the Division, and we're hardcore gamers. I'm not, but
I've never picked up a controller. I don't know what you're talking about.
I haven't platinumed the Division.
You sicken me.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
You have the nerve to come up here, wear these shorts. Boo this man, ladies and gentlemen.
Boo!
No, he's the one guy who doesn't understand the difference.
But my point there being that when we went into the Division 2, it was very much endgame focused.
Yeah.
But endgame doesn't necessarily mean hardcore.
Oh, sure.
So, the raid is the pinnacle, the ultimate achievement in Endgame. But a lot of more casual players, they're going to start playing, they're going to finish the campaign, they're going to play a lot of activities in Endgame, max out their specializations maybe, but maybe then they need a little push to get into the raid. We have clan support.
Oh, okay.
And
You can cheer that, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think clan support...
The 20% guy again, he literally did this.
And that clan support is super precious for people like me who don't play at the same time as my friends and don't have too many friends. So, you know.
Oh, okay. You have one friend who also has no friends. All right. Someone's out there with you. Yeah. Well, that's the thing for me that's been the most impressive as, you know, whatever you want to call me, a commentator, internet personality, video game, whatever, is the way the original Division game still being on the subreddit, right? When you guys put out the last giant expansion where everyone was like, OMG, like this is everything we've wanted from this game, they're still listening. And that's a narrative that doesn't get told as much, I feel, with these games as a service that go on forever, right? A lot of times there's the initial rush, patch doesn't do it, they've buffed everything wrong, they lose a whole bunch of players, whereas you guys have this audience that's stuck with you the whole time.
And again, this core team that's on the Division 2, we shipped the Division 1. We worked on the post-launch. So we've learned from all of the successes and all of the mistakes too.
Sure.
So we see this as a process, and every time we're going to strive to do better because we want people to enjoy the game. I think this is an
That's
investment.
helpful. Usually when you make games, you want people to enjoy it.
Enjoy it. But we're passionate about it, really passionate.
You talk about that passion. One of the big things you guys announced there was you're doing a year of content for free, right?
Yes.
How does that work?
You buy the game?
No, I mean, okay. No, I understand the process of getting the free content.
Okay. How does it work? It's every 3 months, we're going to deliver major DLCs, cold episodes, new story missions, new areas to explore, new activities, new features, everything for free. Because we don't want to split the community. On the first game, we had DLCs, part of a season pass, and they were awesome, but it split the community.
Sure.
And we don't want that.
I for sure had it where I was playing and I wanted to play with a friend, but they hadn't bought the pass, so they didn't have this content.
Yeah. So.
He said, if you're listening at home, a guy said, and they're not EA, which they're not. They're Ubisoft. They're making the Division 2.
Yes.
They're also not Rocksteady. Why didn't they come? You know what? I'm not going to get started. I'm not gonna get started about this E3. We could do it forever. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The final Greg Miller question is, I can go home after E3, pop in the Division, and start earning shields that are going to help me in Division 2.
Yes.
What are they going to do? Tell me what they're going to do. What am I going to get?
You're going to get some exclusive vanity and other things.
Cool hats.
In the Division 2.
Okay.
Very cool hats, maybe some shorts.
The patented Julian E3 shorts. Only available if you get all these shields.
And it's not just like, oh, here are your shields. Thank you for playing. It's that they also introduce new challenges for you to, to take on and engage with in the Division, the first game.
I can't wait. And then my final question is, you've been doing a lot of these E3 interviews already. What's the one thing no one's asked you that you want to talk about the Division 2?
The release date.
No, you've talked about the
It's a good question.
That's why they bring me around.
Oh my God. I think it's the different play styles created by the different environments, and how different an experience it is being in a wide open area versus a very tight internal Coliseum type space.
Okay.
That type of thing.
That's good. You got anything, Mathias?
No.
You're like, no, I have very specific things I've been told I can and can't say. Speaking of, one thing you can say, of course, the Division beta is open right now, right?
Yes.
You can go jump on it, sign up for it.
Yes.
I got to look at my notes for that. TheDivisionGame.com/beta. Never would have guessed it. I don't know why. I shouldn't have probably looked at notes for that. I could have done that without that. And then when's the game come out?
March 15th, 2019.
Ooh-wee. And for everybody here, I'm sorry, go ahead and clap. Well, I mean, like, I guess 20%, yeah, you know, it's a 20% guy. I mean, that was more than this, I'll give you that. For a second, you're doing like the smash clap of just like, all right, see what's going on. And then, of course, people here can go to E3. Where can they find you guys at E3?
We're in a lot of different places. So we're on the Mixer booth, we're on the Xbox booth, and Ubisoft booth.
All right.
Playable.
Yep.
Super, super fun.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Ubisoft, Julian, Mathias. Thank you all. Have a great E3.
Thank you.
Download these shorts.